You can have an amazing life in 60 days. This is by my mentor, Dr. John Demartini, a philosopher, speaker, and author, traveling the world teaching for the last 50 years. This book is all about love and gratitude. And I was thinking of a way that the best way to explain the power of this book and the principles in this book. And I think the best way for me to do that is to read the first day, the first principle, because it's the most powerful. And I think you do need to have a bit of an open mind, a bit of a um, spiritual sort of curiosity in order to embrace the blessings that this book has to offer. So the way the book's set up, you get a, a, a day which is going to have a law. So day one is the law of love. So you have probably 2 to 3 pages of reading, and then you write down some affirmations for yourself, and then you write down some of your reflections. How can I use the law of love to fulfill my life's purpose, dreams, and objectives? And you just have a bit of a journaling. So if you're new to journaling, this is great. If you're an experienced journaler and you like writing things down, then this is also great. It's also the power of writing in your books is like crazy, because once you write in a book, it becomes yours and you're now engaged and connected so much more to the author and the words they're saying. So here we go. Day number 1, The Law of Love by Dr. John Demartini. When I was in the first grade, a teacher told me that I'd probably never be able to read, write, or communicate very well because of my learning difficulties and dyslexia. It seemed as though she might be right, as I struggled through a few more grades, then dropped out of school in my early teens. But after my near-death experience at age 17 and interaction with an elderly mentor who turned my life around, Paul Bragg, I found myself miraculously passing and earning my general equivalency diploma, my GED. With this new and unexpected success behind me, I began to dream about what I might become. At that time, I was living with my parents in Richmond, Texas, and I imagined that I'd somehow overcome my limitations to become a great teacher, healer, and philosopher who'd travel the world and share my research findings. Earning a degree was an important first step, and with my parents' help, I was able to attend a local junior college. After my first test in American history, I received notification that I'd significantly failed. A score of 72 was necessary to pass, but I'd scored 27. I was so distraught that while driving home, I was brought to tears. When I reached my parents' house, I curled up into a little ball in their living room and continued to weep. I thought that my life's dream was shattered. As if by some high design, my mother walked in a few moments later and saw me there on the floor. She asked, "Son, what's wrong? What's happened?" I sobbed. "Mum, I just bombed my history test. I required a 72 to pass and I received a 27. I guess I'm dyslexic. Even my test scores are in reverse. It looks like my first grade teacher was right. I'll never be able to read, write, or even communicate." My mother looked me right in the eye and with great love said, "Son, whether you become a great teacher, healer, and philosopher, or go back to your life as a great surfer, I just want to let you know that your father and I are going to love you no matter what." When she said that, my distress and despair disappeared. I remember putting my hand into a fist, looking up into the air, and seeing my dream of being a great teacher, healer, and philosopher. I wanted to travel the world, and as I saw it so clearly, I said to myself, "I'll do whatever it takes. I'll travel whatever distance and pay whatever price just so that I can teach and give my services of love." Because my mother cared enough to open her heart and make that loving statement, she introduced me to a true and empowering state of unconditional love. In that moment, I again caught a glimpse of the gift of my own magnificence. She helped me transform a truly desolate moment into a one of concrete commitment, and because of that, I've gotten where I am today. You probably influence people too, such as your children, family members, or co-workers. Know that if you love them for who they are, your heart will gleam, shine, and reach out to share that love, and you'll make a difference in their lives. They'll become more, accomplish more, and have more in their lives, and so will you. The power of unconditional love is unsurpassed in its power to transform. Everyone longs to be cherished for who they are. And if you share the truth of your heart, just as my mother so graciously did, the people in your circle will become the wondrous individuals they're capable of being. The law of love is a supreme law, and one that all others support. The law of love is the supreme law, the one that all others support you in moving toward and honoring. As you'll see, all the following chapters will lead you back here. Hold the law of love close and feel your heart reach out, spreading your amazing life further than you may have thought possible. So, words of power that you can say to yourself. No matter what I've done or not done, I am worthy of love. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. All else is illusion. My life is a life of love. I love others no matter what they have done or not done. I'm surrounded by love 24 hours a day. I am thankful for all that is. I'm thankful for all the love that is. Love is the greatest of all teachers. So pretty powerful stuff. He goes a bit more in depth into some of his other stories of how he got up to that test in the local college. He actually closed his eyes and said to himself, "I'm a genius," and I apply my wisdom, and just fucking randomly checked the box. And that's how he got all the way up to that point, and he was like believing in himself so much and is focused on his mission and all of his goals and everything he wanted to achieve. But then he kind of hit a brick wall, and he's like, "Fuck! I failed the GED, the local college exam. Shit, what am I going to do?" And then it's just the power of love, of understanding that people have both sides, that you can't be nice and kind and an angel and caring and giving all the time. You have both sides. So you are not only going to succeed, but you are also going to fail. And I think this book puts a lot of things into perspective. And because it's spread out over 60 days, it's not overwhelming. It's something you can pick up at the end of, in the morning or at night or wherever in between, and you can just read it, a couple pages, say these things to yourself, remind yourself of these principles, and inspire yourself and prioritize yourself. And, amazing things start to transform, because you can't actually transform unless there is love, because in order to transform, it's the equal and exact opposites of challenge and support, of chaos and order. So this book goes through all the different principles that you require in order to maximize your growth and maximize your love, how to be more grateful. And it's just filled with little gems. It's not as obviously in depth as some of his other books, because there's 60 different principles all spread out. So they'll give you a bit of a insight into all of the different days and laws that you'll go over if you get this book. Love, inspiration, quality questions, blessings, presence, genius, appreciation, vitality, silence, certainty, meditation, poise, transition, completion, greater cause, discipline, association, self-mastery, perseverance, self-analysis, power, service, clearance, alignment, trust, energy, planning, mental magnitude, knowing, congruency, delegation, pride and humility, stability, wealth, appreciation, wellness, growth, refinement, visualization, equilibrium, mind, body, caring, reflection, application, truth, speech, contingency, polarity, reasonable expectations, detail, marketing, study, integration, quality, expression and repression, order, adaptability, condemnation, dominant thought, space and time, prayer. So I don't plan on doing a 2 hour long video on all of these principles. So I just want to, I guess, get a bit vulnerable. If you have no idea who I am, or you do know who I am, then I mean, this is interesting either way. But I think the biggest thing for me that I'm going through is being able to still prioritize myself and still believe in my goals and believe in my mission and my purpose and what I'm here to do. And the thing that stops me from doing that is self-love. Like, if you don't love yourself, why on earth would you do things to help yourself? Like, if you walk past someone on the street and you don't like them, then you're probably not going to help them. You know, there's a process of from disliking to loving. Like, if you walk past someone and you love them, like if you walk past on the street and it's your brother that you haven't seen in a year and he's homeless on the street and you love them, then you're gonna do everything you can to help them and to listen to them and to figure out different strategies in order to like pick them back up and do whatever you can. So if you're walking past yourself in the mirror each day and you're waking up in the bed with yourself every day and you don't actually love yourself, what makes you think that you're going to do things to help yourself grow and live a better life and transform what you think are bad habits into more empowering habits, which is kind of a place where I'm stuck at now, where I've just kind of gotten out of a 2-year relationship, and I feel like I invested so much of my heart into someone else that I kind of forgot how to love myself. So a couple of these laws, the meditation and silence, I think is a big one, is being able to let yourself be bored and not getting sucked into this vortex of dopamine and distractions of porn and social media and YouTube. I am so addicted to YouTube. So it's which is kind of why I aligned my goal to post, shitload of book reviews and videos onto YouTube, because I love the platform and I'm always on there. So it's like, okay, how do I align the things that I'm already doing with my highest priority goals that are going to inspire me and light me up and help me to light up others? Perseverance is a big one. Not letting the opinions of others be above your own. And that's a journey in itself, because every time you have growth and as you're growing, the people you look up to and subordinate to will change. So when I first started, it would have been my parents, and then it would have been my mentors, and then it would have been the people that I'm looking up to, these big authors and speakers. And now it's like, because I'm watching a lot of YouTube, now it's like I'm looking up to Mr. Beast. I'm like, wow, Mr. Beast is like such a genius and he's amazing. But you forget that Mr. Beast spent fucking 7 years without even 1,000 subscribers. So it's like, what we actually see and what our brain instantly jumps to the conclusion of isn't always correct. And when you pull yourself back down to these laws and you take time for yourself to sit in silence, to meditate, to be like, okay, how can I love myself? How can I share love with others today? What's the highest priority thing that I can do for me? What are my goals? What am I not seeing? How do I balance myself and ground myself so that I can remain focused? And you ask yourself these quality questions in order to bring yourself back down and not get lost in this comparison game. It's like, yeah, writing down, prioritizing yourself, being aware of what your soul and what your purpose really is, because all we need to do is listen with the intention of hearing. It goes back to that thing where if you resent someone and they're talking, you're not even going to listen to them. But if you love someone, you're automatically and spontaneously engaged with what they're saying, and you're listening with the intention of, I want to help you. Like, what's the greatest thing I can do right now to help you? So for me, it always comes back to self-love. And if you want a very simple and not overwhelming book that's going to help you to achieve a bit more self-love and light up the path of your own self-mastery, then you can have an amazing life in just 60 days. There's a really cool, and I'll finish with this, is a really cool story that Demartini tells where he's promoting this book and he sits down at one of those little breakfast news shows, and someone looks him in the eye and he goes, do you seriously believe that you can change your life in 60 days? And Demartini started getting tears in his eyes, and he was like so overwhelmed with gratitude and inspiration, and like he wanted to share this. So he looked the guy directly in the eyes and he said, I know without a fact that your life can change in 60 days, because my life changed in just 60 minutes in one man with one message. Paul Bragg, when I was 17, inspired me, and he taught me everything. And he told me that I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom, and that I saw my vision and my mission of what I was going to create, and I've created it. It's all come true because of one man in 1 hour with one message. And so your life can really change. All it takes is a bit of intention and focus to, loving yourself. So thank you for watching. Subscribe.